I'm not sure he's got the first team shirt in the Argentine squad, because you have the likes
Right.
of Alvarez.
Hello, good evening. This is Taiwan Ojobi, your host on Lanonasis Maple Sports. We like to bring on filtered opinions, sharp analysis, and big love for Canadian hoops and eyes. Today we'll be breaking down the World Cup. It's been long awaited. Everybody has been talking about the World Cup, and we're going to be breaking it down on some of the issues that have come up before the World Cup and how we expect it to look like, especially looking at the fact that the weather in North America is a bit different. And most of our World Cup matches will be sometime in the afternoon between 1 and 7 p.m. But that being said, let me give my colleagues the opportunity to introduce themselves. Crespo and Joshua, once again, we had a little bit of break after the Champions League and now they're back again. Why don't you just say hi, then we keep it going.
Hello, guys. It's
Crespo.
good to be back after the short break from the regular seasons of the leagues and Champions League. And now we're in the World Cup season. The World Cup starts today. And just about now, Czech Republic just scored a goal against South Korea. So interesting times.
Wow.
Yeah, let's see
Yeah,
how
that
the
was good.
World Cup goes.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. John.
Yeah, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. And good to be back again. Like Crespo said, we took a break just to rest from the long football season you've had. And unfortunately football doesn't rest and we're back again with
Yeah, it keeps
the
going.
greatest sporting events in the world, FIFA World Cup. And it started today, so we are really excited. And we're just here to break down our predictions and just to review the World Cup as a whole with you guys. So yeah, come with us and let's enjoy the ride.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for that. And I believe the World Cup has a bit of stories with it, and it's good to just kind of lay the foundation of how special this one is. The good part is, unfortunately, Nigeria didn't qualify, and automatically it now means that the country where you live in is now the country you are supporting. Now that we're in Canada, we're most likely just looking at the Canadian team and trying to see how far they're able to go. I watched a couple of their friendlies, especially the one they played against, is it Uzbekistan in Edmonton? It showed that they have a quality team. They can bite, but I don't see them having the tactics of the likes of Spain and the other ones as well. But that being said, I believe the World Cup, just to lay a bit of a foundation before we go straight into deep analysis, I believe the World Cup has a lot of emotions involved, especially because it cuts across a couple of countries and the global culture as well. This year is a bit different, and we talked about it earlier, the fact that we have 48 teams this time, and that's a major record. And this is making 2026 the biggest edition we've ever had. So it kind of positions us for a lot of surprises, more matches to be played, and we're probably going to be expecting a lot more countries that we didn't really used to see coming in, this year. So based on the structure as presently constructed, the group stages, there we have about 12 groups now with 4 teams in each of them. Each team will play about 3 games, which is a bit shorter than usual. And 3 points is, 1 point for a draw. And this is the only stage where a draw can, just give you 1 point. And the top 2 teams qualify. Then we have 8, best third teams advance, just like we used to have in the Euros competition. So until they get to the knockout stages, now we have more teams in knockout stage, which is 32 teams. So up onto 16, then quarterfinals, semifinals, then finals. So, but one thing that readily comes to mind is a lot of changes have now happened. Before we go into those changes that have happened, I wanted to just go through this first round of questions and see your view. The World Cup is always characterized by a major talent. At least somebody just comes on the world stage and dominates everybody. In 2022, we had Messi. 1986, we had Maradona. Those are major names for each of those years. We had Luis Nazario Ronaldo de Lima, the real Ronaldo himself. 1998, before he ended up winning in 2002 in Korea, Japan. But that being said, in 2026, I just named a couple of 4 players based on my analysis, but I'm going to push it out to you guys to try and name your 4 players that you're really looking at to start with. And this is where the narrative comes from. Erling Haaland of Norway, I believe is going to be a goal machine in this World Cup. Even though this is his first tournament, I believe he's going to make a mark and it's going to be very, important in helping Norway move forward. Vinicius Junior for Brazil is going to be explosive and creative. Looking at the fact that he has Neymar by his side this time around. Kylian Mbappe for France, they are a bit experienced because Kylian Mbappe has won the World Cup before. So he's coming in as more of a veteran. And they're trying to see if they can win it one more time. Then Lamine Yamal, who is the teenage prodigy, I put them in that ranking. Maybe Joshua should go first. What do you think? Are these the players? Are these the
Yeah, I
players you
would
think that you
say,
should watch out for? Okay.
yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. And if you look at the players you mentioned, their countries are one of the top contenders of people you would say are vying for the title. Look at France, Brazil, not the best Brazilian side we've seen in recent times, but you feel as though they have something to prove, especially with Carlo Ancelotti at the helm. He wasn't brought in there just to compete. He was brought in there to win. So you look at Brazil, you look at France, you look at Spain also, who are looking good. Then England will also be in the mix. Portugal will also be in the mix. Argentina, who people are forgetting, Argentina, Brazil, will also at they might not be the favorites, but if you look at their squad on paper, they still have a very good squad. And Messi, who again is fit. So for me, I think a lot of players. There's also the English players. Harry Kane, who had a
Yeah,
tremendous
season in Germany.
numbers, the number of goals he scored this previous season. So he's going to be up there. I mean, he is one of my tips for Golden Boot, right? Who's going to be the highest goal scorer? Between he and Kylian Mbappe. So I think it's going to be interesting. My top players, yeah, I would say Vinicius, Mbappe for France, Lamine Yamal for Spain, Harry Kane for England, Messi for Argentina, of course, Ronaldo for Portugal, and Vinicius for Brazil. So those would be my top picks. It will be interesting to see also Erling Haaland for Norway. They're not really the power side, as we know in football, but this is their first World Cup in a very long time, if I'm not mistaken. So it will be good to see what they can bring to the table. As we know, Erling Haaland just needs one chance, and he's had a good record. I followed their qualifiers, and he scored tons of goals. And I think they finished the group number one. They
Yeah, ahead
topped
of
their
Italy.
group ahead
Yes.
of Italy and the likes. So it shows that this team with Odegaard, with Solots, with Erling Haaland, they have quite a bit of talent also in that team. So I'm sure they won't be an easy team to play. To be trying to see how that shapes up as the tournament progresses. But again, I would say those 5 or 6 powerhouses would be my ones to watch for the World Cup.
Okay, that makes sense. Crespo, based on the way I arranged it, I don't think it was chronological or in any rank. Who are the players that you are really looking out for in this World Cup? More like they would blow our minds.
Yeah, so for me, I don't want to go with the household names that we know of and that we expect, or maybe not. I wouldn't say household. I'm really looking forward to Michael Olise. I really want to see what he's going to do with France.
Okay, that's true.
I think
That's true.
he's just a shining light that is like you mentioned, the World Cup has a way of putting people on the map. He's already close to being on that map or that stage, but you can imagine if he has a very fantastic World Cup, it just takes him from up here to, way above the skies. So I'll say Michael Olise. The other player I will look out for, well, might be, I don't know, I might be wrong about this. I just want to see how Morgan Rogers for England, how he would shine. Again, I don't want to go with the household names down. So I'm looking at those guys that I feel they could be X factor guys. A lot of expectation is on them. But just about right now, it's 1-1. Korea has just equalized.
Korea.
Yeah,
Czech
I was waiting
Republic.
for it. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, okay.
Beautiful goal, by the
Yeah,
way.
beautiful. So, so again, I hope to see what Morgan Rogers can do with that English team. I don't know. I just feel he has a chance to shine and show a lot. So now back to the Brazilian team. The person I'm really looking out for. It might be interesting for me to say is Thiago. I watched a couple of their pre-World Cup games, and I could see I could see him in a different light, probably because of the kind of quality behind him. He's so, again, I'm just looking forward to seeing what someone like that would do with Brazil, with all of the Arsenal he's got behind him to put the goals and score so many goals. So again, I'm looking at Thiago to see what he can bring up. The other team I'll look out for, because I'm African, I want to give one of our African teams that chance. Again, it might not be what I would expect, but I expect somebody from Senegal. to just stand out. I expect, or I feel amongst African teams, they are the ones that can really take to the bank, that would get something, out for Africa. So again, those are the three players and the team that I expect somebody should just, show something out of this world at the World Cup for me.
Okay, and that's a very, very good one. And Joshua was also able to shed light going across player also to country expectation. But I was looking at the country level, especially looking at your favorite team that will most likely be a top tier and a challenger. On my top tier, I put Spain, and that's because they are dynamic, quite young, and they have this attacking team generally. I put France on the second level for top tier. They are experienced, deep squad, and they just got to the final recently, just 4 years ago. Then Argentina was my number three, defending champions. Then Messi will still definitely bring that leadership to the team and galvanize them to put those guys in a better position as well. But for the challengers, and we could have some surprises coming from my challengers list, we have Portugal, very balanced team. Ronaldo's last push for me, because it gives Ronaldo an opportunity to try and, even though I'm hearing he will go for the next World Cup as more of a veteran, but this is like a last push for him to try and see if he can get the World Cup. England as well, they have a lot of talent. They are coming from the best league in the world, and they need to be able to show that consistency, even though they've been inconsistent historically. But in Euros, they got to a final recently, and they should be able to replicate that now in the World Cup. Then Brazil amongst my strong challengers. So what I want you to do is challenge my list. Do you think there are people I put as strong challengers that should be in top tier, or people in top tier that should be in my strong challengers? So Josh, you can go for
Yeah,
that.
for me, I would say right now, I think you're spot on. Yeah, if I had to create a list, I think those would be the names I would put there also. In terms of your top tier, I think that's spot on. Look at Spain, France, Argentina, probably the three that the three most recent champions across board in the recent years. Argentina defending champions, France champions in 2018, and Spain are recent European
European
champions.
champions, yeah.
It's not far-fetched that it's a no-brainer that those three teams would be the top teams challenging, and that's very spot on. In terms of challengers, I also really agree with what you have there. Brazil, like you said, because it's been a long time Brazil did well in the World Cup, and
Yeah,
to say that about Brazil in the World Cup is almost strange, right? I can't remember the last time they got to a semi-final. I think the last time they did well was in the quarterfinals of 2018, where Belgium defeated them and France defeated Belgium in the semi-final to go on to win the title. But that was a very close match. So since then, they've not gone past the quarterfinal. It's not something you would naturally say about Brazil. So I'm really looking forward to the Brazilian squad this year with Carlo Ancelotti at the helm. He's going to be efficient. He's going to be results. It's going to be less Choco Bonito and more of efficiency. And you can see that also in the type of players he's putting in squad, to give them like Crespo said, that 4-4-2 movement, Thiago Vinicius up front, and less of the wings because there's no Rodri, there's no Oscar Rodri, there's no João Pedro and the likes. But again, if we're trying to see how Neymar participates in this World Cup, which may be his last,
yeah.
it was almost Ancelotti just had no choice but to call Neymar, because he almost looked like he was going to be sort of a disaster if he wasn't called. So he probably has something to prove. So there's Brazil. There's going to be England. Same thing for Brazil, right? They've brought in a German manager. For an English team to bring in a German manager due to the history between them, that he must be good and there must be something they want to achieve with him, and they feel
Definitely.
he can get them over the line. Because look at England over the past couple of tournaments, they've been there and thereabouts. They've just not been able to get over the line in those big moments, which is where Gareth Southgate doesn't have that history of winning big things. And that's why I think they've gone for Thomas Tuchel, who has won it at every stage. He's won the league, he's won the Champions League, he's a big manager, he can make big decisions, and they've brought him to take England over the line, just
But
over the line. And you can see that even in the big decisions in the squad he selected, right? He's not scared of making those big decisions. So England, Brazil will be there. Argentina would also be there. A bit of changes from the squad, but they are still a very good squad. Nico Paz is there now. He had a very beautiful. How would the first 11 or the players the coach selects affect the balance of the team? In terms of the controversy in the last World Cup of Ronaldo starting, dropping Ronaldo, and all of those things. So how would that factor into play this year? But Portugal are also there. And then I can't remember the last team you mentioned, but those would be the contenders. What do you say?
Listen.
Yeah, I said those would be the contenders, and any one of those teams really could win the World Cup because they are a very balanced team. But just for the purpose of this conversation, I think those are the top tiers, the three last championship winners across World Cup, and European Championship, and of course the nearly men: England, Portugal, Brazil, Argentina, defending champion, and the like. So it will be interesting to see. As we know, the group stage, we expect all of these teams to progress to the group stage, and we'll start to get to the business end when boys are separated from men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Crespo, what's your view about the country composition, the top tier and the challengers? Do you think that they fall within your own purview
Yeah.
of challenge
Yeah.
and top teams?
Again, I think like Joshua said before we came on air, only 8 teams have won the World Cup in the history of the World Cup. And if you look at it, those are the same teams you are mentioning. They're in their category: France, Argentina, Brazil,
Spain.
Spain. So again, like I also we're saying just before we came on also, the way the football arrangement is done, you will find out that mostly the European teams, the good European teams, have the highest probability of nicking the tournament, followed by the very good South American teams. So just like you have outlined, those teams are the teams anybody would expect to win. Top three: France, Argentina, Spain. But I would like to, sneak somebody into that top three, maybe make it top four that have got the brighter chance. No, Portugal. I want to add Portugal. Why? Because Portugal, they were able to defeat Spain in the Euro Nations League, the last one. If you remember, and they did not
Yeah.
they did not defeat them by sheer quality of being better than Spain, but they were the side that had almost equal quality of Spain, but they were smart enough to be pragmatic to win the game. They allowed Spain the ball, but when they had the ball, they used the ball effectively. And I think they won by a goal difference, or was it by penalty? But I know they won the last Euro Nation. So
Yeah,
I,
they won the last
yeah,
year.
I want to stick Portugal in there. However, football is such a beautiful game. Just now you mentioned Germany. That's another perennial winner, and they've got quality in
Yeah,
that side.
I didn't even put them in my strong
Ah,
challenge.
you
That's the
know,
team that is missing.
they
But
that
Germany has really not played well in
yes,
recent
yes,
times.
exactly. But
Yeah,
that's the
and
beauty
we
of
built there.
football. They can get on that day or on a day and just step up.
It's Italians.
And
Yeah.
again, we have 2 goals for Czech Republic now.
No, it's been disallowed.
Oh, disallowed. Okay, so
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
so again, that's the beauty of the World Cup. That's a team that really, again, I remember when Germany took Brazil to the cleaners right there in Brazil.
Yeah.
You know,
Seven.
so football is so beautiful. Germany, they are now that's an household name.
Of
Former
course, yeah,
World
of
Cup
course.
champions. I think they've won the World Cup 3 times, 3 or 4. So
4 times.
4 times. So
Okay.
it would be unfair to put them out. So like I've sneaked Portugal into the top tier, the possible challengers, and bringing Germany into that list also. And that's the
To
beauty
them.
of the World Cup. Where we have those beautiful footballers coming coming into the Mundial and just showcasing their talent. I just wanted to mention also, I'm also in a way stylishly looking out for what Argentina would do with the lack of Nico Pass. No, no, no. You need to see that boy. In fact, I think one of the people I will bring into my list of people that I expect to see them do well in the players that the World Cup would bring to the limelight is Nico Pass. But again, I'm not sure he's got the first team shirt in the Argentine squad, because you have the likes
Well,
of Alvarez, you have Lautaro, you have people who are even they are
Messi.
so good they don't have a chance yet. So
Yeah, that's true.
again, the beautiful thing for me, just on the side, is I would love to see beyond Portugal winning. I would love to see Argentina do a double or a back-to-back World Cup. Let's see that happen.
I mean, I don't want that to happen. The banter will be too much.
Yeah, but
In fact, the
South
Messi
Korea just
fans, the
scored the
way they will
second goal.
finish Ronaldo, if
yeah,
the Messi fans start with them, they'll be
but
like,
but,
the GOAT discussion is finished.
but Argentina is a good team. They're a strong team.
Yeah, they're a good team. But remember, Lautaro, all those guys are not young.
Yeah, but they're their peak.
That's the
They're
But
their peak.
you never know. Again, like I'm trying to see this soccer, like I'm sorry, because going into 2022, I mean, no
Nobody
one
gave
thought that they
Argentina a chance.
win the World
Yes.
Cup. Yeah. In fact, especially not after they lost their first game to
Yes,
Saudi
Saudi
Arabia,
Arabia. Yes.
because
True.
they then went on to win all
All the
the
games. Yeah.
other
All the
the
other games, yeah.
next games.
But in the name of fine margins as well, France too was very close to winning it because
Yeah,
Mbappe
penalty
was
shootouts.
playing lights out that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
He
just
scored
a
an
few
hat-trick and
mistakes
still lost
here
the
and there.
final.
That was just it. And France was now going to be winning it a second time, even with Mbappe on the team.
That was
But
also going to be
World
back
Cup
to
is
back.
exactly, yeah, it's filled with a lot of surprises, and that's what the World Cup is really about.
Yeah.
South
Absolutely.
Korea just
So,
got the second goal,
Yeah. Korea.
so
Right.
they're
2-1.
leading to that.
Yeah.
so Korea has scored second goal,
Yeah.
and I noticed that nobody's even discussing about an Asian side going far.
So again, those are the dark horse. They have teams from Asia who are dark. We can call dark horse teams like Japan. They play solid
Japan.
football, but like we said, when the quality comes to the table, yes, Japan is so good, but when they play France or when they play Brazil or when they play Spain, the quality just gets separated, and
Separated,
that's
okay.
so again, they are a good side that they can give anybody a run for their money, but when push comes to shove, do they really stand? Time will tell.
Okay. So we'll just do maybe like a quick fast forward, then we'll come back to the strategy questions and, just have a close look at it. But we had the first match being played today in Mexico, and some people say Mexico is just at our backyard here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but wonderful weather there. It's more like summer for them almost all throughout the year. And some of the things that I did an analysis for before that match was World Cup wins for Mexico has been the highest so far since when World Cup started. They've won 60 games without the trophy, and that's the highest so far. It's so bad because it shows a lot of effort but no production.
Yeah.
Means that you have won the highest number of games, which means they always go far in the World Cup, but they've never won the trophy. And hopefully this year that they are hosting, they can change that narrative. And Mexico has never been beaten in their last 7 World Cup openers. That means the first match of the World Cup for the last 7 times that they've played, they've never lost. And that was why they were going to win today. South Africa itself had not been in the World Cup since 2010.
Yeah, when they hosted, yes.
When they hosted, the time we were having Vuvuzela and
Yeah.
Wow.
the
Remember that Shabalala goal
and
against
the
Mexico?
Jabulanis and all the stuff. Coming back this time around is an opportunity for them to really show themselves. And, and if you look at their friendlies, all the matches they've been playing, even in the World Cup, the only one against Jamaica, they were drawing and losing. So they didn't really look like a team that will be able to bite today. So for me, I did an analysis and it was clear that, Mexico was going to have a very easy one going into the match today. But that being said, if you look at it, I want us to look at what I consider the toughest group generally. For Group 1, Group I, it has France, Senegal, Norway, and Iraq. And that means only 3 teams. And that's where you talked about Senegal, France, and Norway.
Yeah.
Where we have Alan and Co. Now, these 3 teams are very difficult teams. And 2 teams will have to come out from this group. The second group I feel is the toughest: Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia. You understand? Portugal, that's Group K. We have Portugal, Colombia, Uzbekistan, and DR Congo. You understand? So, in my own opinion, do you agree that this is the toughest group? Then I put Group D there as well. We have Turkey, Australia, Paraguay, and USA. Very, very in fact, this Group D, most of those teams are almost on the same level.
I was going to say that based on
they're almost all on, including
comparative
US.
quality, you would want to think
Exactly.
Group D
right?
will be because I think
it's a good group for USA, the hosts, to progress.
They have a chance. Yeah.
So on the easiest part, it looks like Spain in Group H will have one of the easiest way out because Spain has Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, and Cape Verde.
Yeah,
for the level of talent that Spain has,
so
they should just coast through this group stage.
Not against Uruguay. I'm not sure they will have it easy against Uruguay.
Uruguay will only be the biggest test.
However, first timers, there's always something about first timers in the World Cup. They have nothing to lose, so they come out all guns blazing. So when you look at a team like Cape Verde, it would be a good showing for them as well. So and they've been very, very interesting to watch. So of course, I give it to Spain, Uruguay to get out of that group.
Get out of that group, yeah. And looking at the fact that
to see who finishes second in that group, because I think, in as much as you said Uruguay, but Uruguay, they've not been doing well of late in any of the competitions. So I think
And
It's
this is
open
when
because
Suarez
Saudi
left.
Arabia can be a tough opponent from last World Cup. Cape Verde, like you said, newcomers never know what to expect, but you will still put your money on Spain, Uruguay
Uruguay, yes.
to go through at least.
Definitely. Yeah. And I also checked out some of the matches that I feel there's a lot of quality gap. I will be getting a lot of 6-0, 7-0 in those matches. Like Brazil will be playing Haiti, and Germany will be playing Curacao. So looking at the amount of talent difference, these are matches that will have a lot of goals for me.
Yeah.
You
I agree with
understand?
you. They look like that.
Yeah. So some of the things that were very funny, and I saw it today because the match I watched today, earlier in the office, I was able to catch up with some of it. I saw that there were 3 red cards, and it aligns with some of those changes that were announced by FIFA that was going to be active in the World Cup. Now there's a 5-second referee countdown, which now applies to throw in and goal kick because of that wasting time mentality. Now, if you sub a player, the player has 10 seconds to leave the pitch. That's a big problem. If not,
There's
the replacement
punishment.
waits for another 1 minute.
And even that 1 minute is until the ball goes out. After 1 minute after the ball gets out of play. So
We'll still wait for 1 minute after the ball gets
so
out.
your 1 minute elapses and the ball is not out of play, you don't come in.
Wow.
Yes. I saw the
That's
rules.
a
I
tough
saw the
one.
rule too. So the idea is there's an advantage to the opponent.
Yeah.
So it's almost like hockey then, because what hockey does is instead of giving yellow card and red card, a player will leave the team and go and sit down inside the penalty room.
Yeah, so this
So
one,
depending on the offense, you can be in the penalty room for 5 minutes.
Yeah, so until the game goes
And
out.
people are saying that they are hoping that football can get to that stage where there won't be red cards again, but there'll be taking out a player with the offense and let him go to a penalty area where he's away, and the team plays with 10 men till when he comes back. If it's a serious penalty or if it's a serious offense, he can stay for 10 minutes.
Yeah, anything
So
can
imagine
happen.
you are playing with 10 men. Yeah, but with the way the rules are changing, things can happen anytime soon. On the VAR expansion, that was the major one. I just wanted to put it out there. They can now check incorrectly awarded corners. They can go back and check it. If a corner was not...
If it leads
corners
to a
have been
goal,
added. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Second yellow
Even
card
second yellow
or
card
red card errors, they can go and check it again. Because you will notice that in the match that they were playing today on VAR, they were rewinding it almost 15 because this is the highest stage and VAR needs to help them get it right. Now, if there's a mistaken identity where the referee gives the wrong person yellow card, they can go and check it again on VAR. VAR allows them to review it. Then if you're attacking fouls before the restart, or you are blocking before a corner, or a player wants to play corner, you don't go and block him. Those ones too can go to VAR. VAR can review it just to be sure that, it's actually the right call before
also,
they go.
Another key addition for the World Cup that they added is like in the what you said in terms of situation of corners and free kicks. If there's a foul before the ball is played, the referee can now blow the whistle and give the free kick the other way, depending on who committed the foul or a penalty. Because before now, the referee could not blow. You cannot blow until the ball is in play.
In play, exactly.
People pushing each other, shoving everything, but the referee cannot do anything until the ball is in play. Then he then blows foul or penalty, as the case may be. So, as in the situation of the Arsenal West Ham issue that we had this last season. So now, even if there's a foul before the corner kick is being played, the referee can blow the whistle.
Can blow, okay, and that's a good one. I think this rules have, to me, it's the adjustment I'm thinking of, players making quick adjustments. Because about 11 major changes to your normal flow of football. And that's why we had almost 3 red cards today.
Yeah.
2 from the South African side and 1 from the Mexican side. It's because now eyes are on everybody. So you cannot escape a lot of things going forward.
Yeah, that first one was even a clear one. He stopped a goal scoring opportunity.
So all those ones where you are angry and you hit a player, you definitely get outright straight up.
It's interesting because in the commentary of the South African game, the commentator said the stats that last World Cup 2022, in the whole entire tournament, we had just 4 red cards. And in the first game of 2026, we've already had 3.
Already 3 just in the first match. And I'm sure they've not even had any red card in this Korean match that we're watching now.
No.
Okay, I think fairly decent teams that are more disciplined will probably not get anything.
Yeah.
But this first match, I don't know whether the anxiety was high, just getting, too many yellow cards, just too much.
I would blame South Africa for obvious reasons. I don't know what's got into the heads of the players. I don't know, honestly. I think they're a better side than what they showed today. They just lost composure at every level, from the front to the
Yeah,
back. Again, they wanted to do what probably they had changed their mind to play, to pass or to play from the back. And because of the so-called playing from the back, they kept making errors upon errors upon errors upon errors till conceding, till getting red cards and fighting. I don't know. If there's any team you don't want to even be on the wrong side, it's the home team,
um,
the host nation. Like, come on, you know, they were just unnecessarily physical, and you don't even know South African teams to be that physical. But they again, so I think for some reasons, I think the guys lost their head, and because of that, I don't even think any of the red cards against Africa would even need to be analyzed. It was clear. Why are you
clear.
putting your hand in somebody's face? Why are you're the last man? You're stopping a chance on goal. So that's a straight red. So the one I even think that wasn't a red for me was the one against Mexico. I'm not
Okay.
sure the guy was going, okay, maybe violence or the way he went at clearing the ball. But again, I think South Africa just
Yeah,
lost their head in the game.
yeah, that's just it. I also feel, first match of the competition comes with a lot of anxiety at that level.
Yeah,
And,
probably.
the way you approach it also determines how you are going to go, from the beginning to the end. If you look at it, they were overloading their wings, 2v1s on the left, especially. They were overloading the wings. Gallardo was overlapping. Quinons, that guy surprised me. Quinons, he was cutting inside very well. Then Jimenez, Rahul Jimenez, forget it. That guy, look at that second goal from him.
Yeah,
Wonderful
the other.
opportunity. They had total of 16 shots, and 10 was coming from wide to central, wide to central. So it shows that they had more structure in place. South Africa, I kind of liked their back block. They were not aggressive in front, so they were not trying to. In fact, they didn't have any shots from inside the box of the Mexican guys. They didn't have any shot at all. You understand? Most of the time, they were just threatening. They defended a bit well, and that's why they kept it decent at 2-0. They defended well, but when the red card came, it also affected their game plan going forward.
Yeah.
And all they just needed to do was just defend. I didn't really see a consistent mid block. It was more of the back block. And that's why they kept it a bit decent. Only about 3 shots generally. And there was no transition threat for me.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
understand? So I think it's correct for me to say there was zero chances created for them generally. So zero
Yeah.
chances created because I didn't see that bite at all. It was all Mexico. And it was
Yeah.
good to see Raul, Jimenez playing at that level,
Yeah.
coming back to play for his country. But that's a good one. So that being said, I was just thinking we should go back to some of the strategic questions that I feel, clout this World Cup and how we're approaching it. Now, expanding the World Cup now to 48 teams, do you think it improves the tournament or it dilutes the quality of play? I want Crespo to go first and give me your opinion.
So it's like the usual conversation of which one comes first, the chicken or the egg.
It's the chicken
So,
that produces the egg.
well, there
Yeah,
was
but who produced the first
who
chicken?
produced veg chicken? I'm
It's
sure it
true,
came from one
sha.
egg.
So it depends
So
on how you look at it, really.
so and
Yeah,
that's
it's
just
true.
it. You look at inclusion. If football is global, how can you include more people to partake in the World Cup? If we call something World Cup, then why are some people not equally involved? For instance, we have African nations. We have 54 nations in Africa. Europe doesn't have up to 54, but they have more representation in the World Cup. So how do you compensate for that? South America has the least number of countries in their continent, but they have a very high percentage of representation. So those are the things as the game grows, you begin to look at. The other part again is money, business. Football is
Yeah,
business.
that can never be taken away
You
from you.
can't take it. So for every business, they are looking for ways to have more games. With more games comes more TV rights, more TV, more allocation. So again, there's a big supply chain for start scratch to the end. Again, another thing is for all the profits made from the World Cup, all nation members get some
Yeah,
funds even
let's
after,
get
not
some.
even those who don't even qualify. Something comes
Qualify, yeah.
to, something comes to you as a
Every
nation
nation.
from the proceeds. So again, it's massive. The major thing is if you're going to increase it, please make it properly organized, and at some point try to factor in the fans to also enjoy the Mundial.
Yeah, that's true. Josh, what say
Yeah.
you?
I mean, again, like Crystal said, is that chicken and the egg is there's no right or wrong answer. It's neither here nor there. It just depends on what side of the value and how you look at it. Like Crespo said, and if you think everyone should have an opportunity to play in the World Cup, you're right. If you also think so much teams will dilute the quality of the World Cup, you're also right. The argument for and against, so it just depends. But I like that the opportunity to give more teams the chance to play at the World Cup. And you can just see and how you would know what it means is looking at the qualifiers to see how those teams who are making the World Cup for the first time, how much it means to them.
Means to them, yeah.
The emotional aspect for the whole country as a whole.
When last did Iraq come to the World Cup?
Possibly a long time ago.
A long time.
Because Iraq is in
even
this
country like Iraq, countries like Uzbekistan, this is their first World Cup also.
Yeah.
So you can see what it means to them, the players, the country as a whole. So you then look at them like, why do you want to take away the opportunity to have this moment for some of these countries? So in as much as we know, they are not coming to contribute much, or they are not going to get so far in the competition, or the quality may not be what we expect, but that's secondary in terms of like the opportunity to partake, to be there, to represent the country, to fly the flag, can see what it means for the players, that emotional connection. So it just shows you that it means more than just the quality. And why would you want to deny countries like that the opportunity to enjoy, to experience that feeling of being in a World Cup, right? Even if it's just only going to be one, they will be in. Like, that's a feeling, that's an experience they will never forget. So that's why I'm happy that more teams have the opportunity to qualify and compete at this tournament, because it's an experience. It's like one in a lifetime experience for these players, also for the countries to represent them in the World Cups. It's interesting to see. We'll see how it goes. It's more matches, like Crespo said, also more money, right? More money for the game also, and hopefully, according to what FIFA does, right, a chunk of the profit or the money from this tournament trickles down to all of these countries and their federation to improve grassroots footballs. In a way, it still comes down to benefit each of these countries and everybody, and to grow football in all of these countries. And also because football, there's nothing like football, right? Football is the one thing I think unifies the world, unifies a lot of people from different background, cultures, countries, and you feel as though football is that tool that we can use to bring the world together, especially in a time like this where the world is not, I wouldn't say it's in one of the best places currently with all of the conflicts happening in the world. You see how when the tournament starts, when you separate the men from the boys, when the proper tournament starts, you see how it's going to bring everybody in the country together, all together to enjoy this spectacle that comes once in 4 years.
Wow. Well, this question has different facets to it. I thought it was going to be straightforward, but it looks like the inclusion is what I was really able to take away. FIFA has always been talking about it, and this is the only way they can start to demonstrate inclusion. Let everybody get involved. Let more people get involved. And if there's money to make, then what's the excuse? So I think the next part I also like to look at is, if you look at our recent World Cups that we've been playing, do you think it's defined by one superstar, or it has football becoming more team-oriented? The only time I saw in recent times, I would say, okay, we did maybe the last decade, where we had, or a little above a decade, where we had one team that we didn't have a real superstar, and that was in the Euros, when Greece won the Euros.
Yeah.
That was the last time we had a team coming together to win. There was no major superstar. But what's your view generally? Do you think it's now a system that has one superstar as a player, or has football becoming more team-oriented? I'm just sure you can go first. Let me just, see your view.
Yeah, I think except a dark horse wins the competition, that's when you get the superstar. But I think if one of the established boys wins the competition, more often than not, we get a superstar player who has done well most times, or even maybe not win the tournament but gets the final. You usually see the last 4 or 5 World Cups now, the player who's won the golden ball, that is best player of the tournament, has always been the best player in that team for that country, not necessarily the country that wins, and that player has been wearing the number 10.
Yeah.
To go as far back as Diego Forlan, to go as far back as Modric, to go as far back as Mbappe, to go as far back as this last one, Messi. So you can
Messi.
see people who have won the number 10 shirt for their countries, and the best player in that team has gone on to win the golden ball player. And I think apart from this last year, usually the player who wins the golden ball is not the team who wins.
Yeah.
But interest, I think we'll still see a top player regardless, except in the case of where, for instance, a dark horse were to win the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
Like a South Korea or a Japan or a Switzerland type of country. And then it might be strange because off the top of my head, I can't remember who won best player in the tournament that Greece won in Euro 2004.
It was more of a team, really.
Because
How many
of more of
players
a
can you
team
remember from that
performance
team?
and
How
yeah.
many players
I
can you
remember
remember?
their striker, Charistias. I remember the guys at
It was-
Bolton. These guys at Bolton. No. Ansas is Turkey.
Okay, sorry, I was mixing them
Yeah,
up. I was mixing them up, yeah.
Papadopoulos, all those boys that played for Bolton.
Okay, the Polos, yeah.
Yeah,
They
I
had a
remember
lot of
those guys.
Polos
Yeah.
in that
all
team,
those
yeah.
boys. I don't even know what
Yeah, I
happened.
remember.
But
I was
yeah, it
mixing them
was.
up.
Again, I ask questions like that when things like that happen. Is it that they were very good or everyone was just bad?
No. So
But again,
don't forget, Greece was hosting was it Greece or no? Portugal hosted.
no, it was not.
Portugal hosted because I know Portugal lost to them in the group stage and in the final. I would confirm. I think Greece hosted. They hosted at 2000. I think that was it 2000 Euros
It was
2004. I think Greece hosted. Either Greece or Portugal hosted. But I know Portugal, they defeated Portugal in the group stages and beat them in the final.
Portugal hosted the
Portugal hosted, yeah. So again, what happened in that tournament? Because I remember watching the tournament and I've watched it again. When the gods, Zeus and the legs just smile on you.
because they beat Portugal in the final.
Yeah, they beat them in the final and in the group stage.
Yeah.
They beat them in the group
And
stage as well. Yeah, so I remember clearly. Again, it was just a function of
Ronaldo was crying.
Ronaldo was playing Figo,
Yeah.
Pauletta.
Ronaldo was younger then.
Yeah, was
Figo
young
was
Ronaldo,
then.
Figo. Yeah, Pauletta, the guys, Samao, all those Simao. So
Elder Postiga,
That time the
yes,
Pepe never come
Pauletta.
up. Pepe has not come up that time.
And those guys they're still behind.
They were still young.
That was when you had you had the Manish them coming up. So again, I feel
Manish, yeah.
I feel again, Rui Costa was there also. Rui Costa for Portugal.
Rui Costa, yeah.
So
that's true.
it was just the girls were just smiling because the game, any chance Portugal had,
just smiled.
it did not happen. So again, you have to be there to beat the best. To beat the best, you need to beat the best. So whoever it is that is going to, whoever is going to be a dark horse would have to do the work.
Okay, and this also brings me back to, looking at the overlapping pressure going on now in the World Cup. So, who do you think has more pressure heading into this World Cup? Defending champions Argentina or top contenders like maybe France, England, Germany, even the Portugal of this world. Who do you think has more pressure in 2026?
I'll say England, not because they are the best team to win, but because of the hype you get, the media hype you get from the English. And again, I think most of us, we watch a lot of the EPL. We listen to a lot of pundits from the EPL. We consume a lot of analysis about the EPL. So there's a chance that you want to really prove to everyone that this league is this good, so is the national team. But however, over the years, they always just fall to, would I say, just sheer quality at that point. The English team can on their own day defeat any team, but it just gets to that crucial point, and all these guys are not just far. You just can't find them. Look at the semi-final game they had against France. Was it semi-final or quarter-final? No, semi-final in the last World Cup. They were in the semi-final. They lost to France.
Yeah, they lost to France.
They lost to France.
They had everything to win the game. Look at the sitter Hurricane missed in the game. they had everything, or they have everything at their beck and call to win or to beat any of those big boys. But again, they just meet these teams and they can't survive. I remember also in the previous World Cup how they lost to Croatia. How Modric
Sure.
just took
That was semi-final also.
semi-finals. How they were just unable to just go behind the
That was
line.
penalty, I think.
Yeah. Then also look at how they lost at the Euros to
Euro
Italy,
final.
where they thought
Italy, yeah.
it was staying home, or what was the slogan? It's coming home.
Coming home. Coming
You know,
home. Also, it was staying because they hosted it in England. Sancho too mispronounced it.
but the point
Yeah,
is
Sancho.
during the
I heard
game,
that Sancho is a free agent now.
He is.
yeah,
He is. My year have released him.
yeah. But
I just
like
released him.
during the game, they had the chance to actually win the game, but for some reason they allowed Italy control the game. They
Yeah, because
just
they scored first. Italy equalized with
equalized, and
yeah,
and that was
Bonici.
and they just were unable to go. But again, so
So
that's
Italy,
What has
even
not
this
been
last Euros
Italy has not
final,
been
they met
qualifying.
Spain
They've not been
again.
qualifying for
so again.
what happened to the Italian team?
It's the
No, we've
league.
thought about it now. Italian football died
Has dropped.
a natural death. So it's not
Yeah,
surprised that
yeah,
they've missed the last 3 World Cup.
yeah. Like we can't mention any
Who is
top
the last
player.
Italian? Which can you give me one? The last
Yeah,
Italian top player.
yeah. They don't have a top player anymore.
How many Italian players are even in the Italian league that is outstanding?
I can't
Exactly.
mention any. I
Yeah.
You
can't.
can't
There's
even
no. There's no.
name like up to 3.
They're out.
None.
They're out
None.
there.
You can't.
The
Totti, all
Italian team
that.
that played their last qualifiers,
Yeah.
because after they didn't make the World Cup, after Gattuso lost that playoff, all of them, Gattuso resigned, all the federation, like the code, all of them, they started of them resigned. So they're trying to like revamp the whole
Rebuild.
structure.
Yeah.
And the new coach now, the team he picked for these friendlies, this World Cup warm up friendlies that Italy played, all new player. You cannot name one of them that you know. I
Yeah.
don't know, like when I
Wow. Donnarumma,
and
yeah.
one Mane guy that plays for Wolves are the only 2 recognizable names there.
So
Wow.
It's how Italian football has fallen.
yeah. So again, that's why. So sorry, I was saying that's why I give England the most pressured team. They've been every tournament
That pressure.
they've been at, they've either been at the semi-finals or the finals in the last 10 years.
They've been very close, yeah.
So the
Was
pressure
a
is
tough
on
one.
them. The pressure is on them.
So Josh, who do you think the pressure is on generally?
Who will I say?
Maybe Brazil. They have been underperforming at tournaments in a long time.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, okay, just to be different, I would say Brazil too. And you could see how they courted Carlo Ancelotti so
Yeah.
much, because they just needed to, just like Crespo said, and it's no surprise that these 2 teams we've mentioned have gone against their usual method.
Yeah.
In how they hired coaches, right? For England to hire a German coach, right? Thomas Tuchel, and for Spain to hire an Italian, for Brazil to hire an Italian Carlo Ancelotti, is because they know that these guys are our best chance in tournament football to get over the line and take us back to the glory days.
Yeah.
Because Brazil has not had a non-Brazilian coach before.
Yeah.
Right, in their history. So it is a very big change to go for an Italian to try to get them back to winning World Cups, which they have not done. They have not gone past the quarterfinal, like I said earlier. And for England getting to kill, because like Crespo said, they've been close in all of these games. Gareth Southgate has done an immense job from when he took over, when they were a mess, to take them to become a team that are a more solid team. They play as a unit, team spirit, camp, everybody's high up. And he got to 2 finals, two semi-finals in the World Cup, and 2 finals in Euros. They've done really well. Just like they now need to take that next step from being the bridesmaids to actually go be the bride. And win over the line. And that's why they've gone for someone who has experience in winning, Thomas Tuchel, who they believe in those, like Crespo said, in those matches where you are leading and you just need to take the initiative to close the game out. A more experienced and elite manager will make those decisions and make those calls, as opposed to Gareth Southgate, who was more reactionary than being proactive. So that's why they've got for these managers. And I agree, the pressure is on Thomas Tuchel too, because initially they gave him an 18-month contract running up to the World Cup to win the World Cup and then increase it. But due to, I think, Manchester United looking for a manager, they increased his contract. But make no mistake, he's in England to win this World Cup this year, just as Carlo Ancelotti is in there to win the World Cup for Brazil. And like you said, and it'll be interesting to see, because if both of them win this World Cup, or if either of them win this World Cup, it will be the first time in World
Different.
Cup history that a team has won the World Cup with a foreign manager. It has
Yeah.
never happened in World Cup history. All the 8 teams that have won the World Cup, and some have won it multiple times, have all won it with a
National team
manager
coach.
that's from the countries. If either England or Spain win, it will be the first time that a foreign manager would win the World Cup.
Wow, that's a big one. I didn't even get that at all because I know that Germany has always had a German coach,
And
and
they always go
France
to
has always had
the
French
French
coach.
coach.
Deschamps won
Yeah.
with them. Yeah, that's true. And I
Dominic.
think in the spirit of this thing we're talking about, it also goes to the next question, and Joshua was able to do a bit of justice to it. So, Crespo, how much does coaching and tactics really influence the team that gets to succeed compared to raw player talents at the World Cup level these days? Do you think it's coaching a maestro or raw talent from the players?
Yeah, it would be wrong to say the coaches have no effect. If that's the case, then just let the boys run on the pitch and do their magic. Yeah, he gets to a point, like, and that's why you look at what and Joshua mentioned. Why did they go for Tuchel? By all indication, there's nothing wrong in being the second best business in any career, any endeavor you find yourself in. To be the second in the world, and that's a good position to stay, even if you don't eat number one spots. Anybody will be okay with, out of so many people, I'm second. But for football, is beyond that now. So if the team is good enough to be second, what's that extra? Most likely not the footballers anymore. It's an ideology. It's that thinking difference that the team is looking out for, and only the coaches can give you that. Even if you have outstanding players, of course, the players won't change. They've had all the kind of good players that got them to second position, and once they get to the second position, they were unable to, do the final bits. Just like Arsenal, also, whether we like it or not, Arteta's impact was seen in the way the team played. They had been the beautiful football playing side. This season, they decided, you know what, we're going to be more pragmatic. Any kind of way to reduce a chance of losing any game, we're going to stick to that. And we saw how they played. So again, it's a no-brainer to say that coaches are not important. Who can say that where we have people like Pep Guardiola, Man City with so much money, bringing in so many coaches, could not dominate the league until they brought in Guardiola. Jurgen Klopp is another example how he revolutionized this Liverpool team that won the league with under Klopp before now that they didn't do so well. And you really can't say the coaches are not important. They have major effect. Look at the effects Ancelotti is bringing to Brazil national team already. The team was in tatters. They could barely come together as a group. But with the presence of Ancelotti, you can see that they have a much more solid team. Maybe not
Yeah.
the favorite, number one favorite to win the tournament, but you can't rule out the fact that this coach has done something to this team. Again, Ancelotti, he left Real Madrid and they don't even know their left from their right anymore. So the effect of coaches is cannot be overemphasized. And at tournaments like this, when the big boys of equal quality and equal strength meet, it boils down to the thinking cap of the gaffer. So again, you can't rule the fact that those coaches are of very good importance. It could be tactical, it could be player management, whatever it is. There's something they bring to the table that really makes them stand out.
Okay, that's a good one. I think we've been able to, cut through major aspects, especially on the strategy side and on the tactical side for the World Cup. But I think I should just put in a little bit of small updates that are happening within the Premier League and some other parts of Europe. Tottenham is beginning to, kind of reshuffle. Ben Davies signed for a 13th season, and they were able to get a player from Bournemouth, Marcos Senesi, and they're also looking at, preparing a bit better for next season. Man U did not make any commitment to Jadon Sancho. He's now a free agent. Manchester City is bidding about 123 million
For Anderson,
pounds for Elliot Anderson. I'm surprised they're going for a Nottingham Forest player.
no, Anderson is good.
Anderson is good.
But do you think it's also going to affect because 123 million for an Anderson? Do you think that kind of money is a lot?
So I think Nottingham Forest is trying to get the most of the player because anybody who's going to confirm, because Nottingham Forest, it's what they spend. They have a
Yeah.
spending owner. So one of the PFA rules also is if I can sell somebody for 180, that's earnings. So that gives him room also to make some spending on their own side. I know. Why not? How much did they get Elliot Anderson? Why not go for
For
100?
surviving,
Yeah,
for
so
surviving and not relegating, they got a lot
yeah,
of money as well.
yeah. So
Just that they didn't get to win an European competition this year.
Yeah.
Better luck next time. So on the list of things happening within England, Bukayo will most likely be struggling with an Achilles pain and he'll be playing through it. And this was said by the coach that even while in the Champions League final, Bukayo Saka was still struggling with an Achilles pain, but he will have to go into the World Cup with it, and they'll find a way to manage him based on time restriction. So that being said, we'll probably be pushing a lot of analysis around the World Cup. A lot of matches will be coming in and out, and next week we'll get the opportunity to be able to come together and talk about a couple of matches so far.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, guys. We've been able to do roughly about 1 hour. God bless, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
All right,
See you
thank
next
you
time.
guys. Bye.
Yeah.